Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology Section A. In our previous session, we have completed with the topic of calculation of molecular mass of any compound for chapter number 4, measurement of matter. Then we had studied about the concept of mole and Avogadro's number. Our topics for today are determining the valency of an element and steps to deduce the chemical formulae of compounds. So as usual, in the first 4 to 5 minutes, we will just revise the topics which we have covered in our previous session, and then let us move towards the important topic for today, that is valency. Our first topic which we had studied last time was molecular mass and determination of molecular mass, calculation of molecular mass of any compound. So what is the definition of molecular mass? As I had told you earlier, molecule is nothing but a combination of atoms of that particular element, or if it is a compound, then it is the sum of the atoms of different elements which are present in that particular compound. So molecular mass is the sum of the atomic masses of all the atoms in a single molecule of that substance, and as it is the sum of the atomic masses, the unit of molecular mass is also same as that of atomic mass, that is Dalton. Then we had seen different examples where molecular masses of different compounds were found out. It at a glance we will just revise the first two and then we will move ahead. Calculation of molecular mass of NaCl. Atomic masses of the elements will be provided to you. The two elements here are Na, that is sodium, and Cl, that is chlorine. So the molecular mass of NaCl is sum of atomic masses of Na and Cl. As you can see, Na is also 1 and Cl is also 1. So atomic mass of Na multiply by 1 plus atomic mass of chlorine multiply by 1. Substitute the values of atomic masses. Sodium they have given as 23 and chlorine is 35.5. So 23 multiplied by 1 is 23 plus 35.5 multiplied by 1 is the same number. When you add, you get it as 58.5. If you want, you can write the unit Dalton. That is, you can put a small u, not compulsory. Next compound for revision is MgCl2, magnesium chloride. The two elements are magnesium and chlorine. Magnesium is only single, but chlorine you can see Cl2. So two atoms of chlorine. So molecular mass of MgCl is equal to sum of the atomic masses of Mg and Cl. Atomic mass of Mg multiply by 1, that is same, plus atomic mass of chlorine, here it is multiply by 2. Substitute the values. Atomic mass of magnesium is 24. So 24 multiplied by 1 is 24 plus chlorine is 2. So 35.5 multiplied by 2. Add the values. You will get the answer as 95. This way we had seen n number of compounds last time. Then we had moved towards a new topic. What is mole of a substance? And that time I had told you, when elements and compounds they take part in the chemical reactions, it is nothing but their atoms and molecules which react with each other, and hence for us it is very necessary to know the numbers of their atoms and molecules, and the concept mole was used for this purpose. So the definition of mole is, a mole is that quantity of a substance whose mass in grams is equal in magnitude to the molecular mass of that substance in daltons. So to calculate the mole, you should know the molecular mass. Example we had taken of oxygen and water. Molecular mass of oxygen is 32. Why 32? Because a molecule of oxygen means O2. So atomic mass of oxygen multiplied by 2. So 16 2s are 32 and hence 32 grams of oxygen is 1 mole of oxygen. Similarly for water, molecular mass of water is 18 daltons. Hence 18 grams of water make 1 mole of water. So to calculate the moles, you should know the molecular mass of a particular substance. Then to calculate the number of moles of a substance, you have to use this formula. Number of moles of a substance denoted by small n is mass of that particular substance in grams upon molecular mass of a substance. And this formula I have told you, you have to remember if you have to do the numerical examples ahead. Towards the end we had seen Avogadro's number. Value of Avogadro's number is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23, and very clearly I had told you a mole of any substance means 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. As we see around us, when you speak about 1 dozen bananas or anything, then it is 12. 144 notebooks, then you call it as 1 gross. And similarly, when you speak about mole, 1 mole is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. Up till this we had studied last time. Now let us move towards our important topic for today, and as I have told you earlier, this topic understand very carefully because it is linked with your 10th standard syllabus. Valency. What is meant by valency? In scientific terms, valency is the capacity of an element to combine is called its valency. To study valency, in your textbook, it is given in very short. They have given directly the formation of NaCl, but I want to clear your basic knowledge about valency. Hence, I will go for this topic a little bit in details. You don't have to study it, you just have to remember. Now, when you speak about any atom, we have seen that the center of the atom is called as the nucleus, and around the nucleus there are orbits in which electrons are moving. So we will take 4 shells into consideration. First shell is known as the K shell, then comes your L shell, then M, and last is N. So first shell is K, second is L, M and N. Now you can see here I have written the number of electrons in front of the shell. K shell maximum capacity is 2 electrons, L shell it is 8, M it is 18 and N is 32. Now who am I to tell you that maximum capacity of each shell is so much electrons? It is deduced, it is determined by using a formula which is 2n square. I have written 2 multiplied by n multiplied by n. 2n square. What is n? N is your shell number. Now K shell is the first shell, so n is 1. So K is the first shell, so n is 1. So when you put 1 in place of n, 2 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1 comes out to 2. Let us see the next shell. L is your second shell. So second shell means n is 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 comes out to 8. Similarly for M and similarly for N, it is the third shell, it is the fourth shell. In place of N you substitute 3 and in the fourth case you substitute 4. You will get the answer as 18 and 32. So the maximum capacity of your first shell is only 2 electrons. If there are 3 electrons for any element, the third electron will move in the second shell and so on. So each and every shell has the capacity to accommodate the electrons, which is found out by the formula 2n square. Now let us take the examples. I will take the examples of first 10 elements for you to understand what is valency and how is valency calculated. Then only you will understand the next topic which is given in your textbook, that is formation of NaCl. Let us take our first element, which is hydrogen. Hydrogen, now for calculating valency, it is very essential for you all to know the atomic number. I am speaking about atomic number. I am not speaking about atomic mass. As each one of you have your unique roll number. Similarly, each and every element has its own symbol and atomic number. So, the first element starts with hydrogen having atomic number 1. So, while writing the electronic configuration, it will be only one electron and hence valency is 1. If you take the next element, it is helium. Atomic number is 2. So while writing, you will write electronic configuration as 2. Valency is 2. Lithium. Now here be careful. Atomic number is 3. So the first shell has the capacity of only 2 electrons. So 2. The third one will go in the second shell. So always when you are representing the elements in the next shell, you are going to segregate it with the help of a comma. This is the way to write the electronic configuration. Electronic configuration means what? Configuration, placement of electrons in their orbits. So 2, 1. Third electron will go in the second shell. Now here valency will be 1. Why 1? Because in the second shell there is 1 electron. So if lithium wants to become stable, then it will have to donate this 1 electron and hence valency is 1. Let us go to the next element, beryllium. Atomic number is 4. So 2 in the first shell, 2 in the second shell. In the second shell there are 2 electrons. So valency is 2. For boron, 5 is the atomic number. So 2 in the first shell, 3. Valency is 3. Carbon, 6, 2, 4. Valency is 4. Now be careful. Nitrogen. Nitrogen atomic number is 7. 2, 5. You will say atomic number is 5. Wrong. At valency is 3. Teacher, why it is 3? Up till carbon, we have seen here 2 electrons are there. So 2. Here 3 electrons are there. It is 3. Then why for nitrogen? This injustice. It is not an injustice. You know the maximum capacity of next shell, that is the second shell, is how many electrons? It is 8 electrons. Now here beryllium. It has 2 electrons. So instead of taking 6 electrons and becoming to 8, what will beryllium decide? It will give away these 2 electrons. So it will be stable with its first orbit with 2 electrons. Similarly, boron will give away 3, carbon will give away 4. Will nitrogen decide to keep on giving 5 electrons or accept 3 and become stable? Surely nitrogen, instead of donating 5, it will take up 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. It will get stable with 2, 8. As we have seen earlier, the first shell has the capacity of 2. Second shell has the capacity of 8. Similarly, if you go ahead, oxygen, atomic number is 8, 2, 6. Instead of donating 6, it will accept 2 and it will become 2, 8. So valency is 2. Fluorine, atomic number 9, 2, 7. Instead of donating 7, it will accept 1. And neon is having atomic number 10. So 2, 8. You can see neon is already stable. First shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons. So what will neon do? Neon is stable, so it will not accept, neither it will donate any electrons, and hence valency is 0. And then as you proceed ahead with elements of higher atomic numbers, then will come your 3 shells. Now suppose next element is sodium after this, having atomic number 11. So 2, 8. Will you write 2, 9? No. 2, 8 and the third first one more electron which is there, it will go in the third shell. So 2, 8, 1 and so on. I hope you have understood the concept of valency. Now when I speak about our next topic which is given in your textbook, formation of NaCl, that is sodium chloride, you will well understand it. So now let us move ahead. with our next topic, formation of sodium chloride. For sodium chloride, the two interacting elements are sodium and chlorine. We have seen how to calculate the valency of any element. Now, we will see how sodium chloride is formed and what is the relation with their valencies. So, we have also studied that the capacity of an element to combine is called its valency. If you take the case of sodium and chlorine in this compound, sodium has electronic configuration 281 and chlorine has 287 because their atomic numbers are 11 and 17 respectively. Just now we had seen how to calculate the how to write the electronic configuration. So you can see in the case of sodium, in the third shell there is only one valence electron. The electron in the outermost shell is called as the valence electron. Whereas in the case of chlorine, there are 7 valence electrons in the third shell. Now when sodium and chlorine will come in contact with each other, what will happen? Sodium has to become stable. So this one electron is more with sodium. Sodium will give away this electron. So it will become stable with 2 and 8 electrons in the first and second shell. Whereas in the case of chlorine, that one electron which is donated by sodium will be taken up by chlorine. So chlorine will also become stable with 2, 8 and 8 electrons. So you can see on the arrow minus 1 electron plus 1 electron. Why minus? Because sodium is giving up. And why plus? Because chlorine is accepting this electron. So here it will form a positive sodium ion with electronic configuration 2,8, whereas it will form a chloride ion with configuration 2,8,8. So sodium with a positive charge will combine with chlorine with a negative charge and form sodium chloride. Now why positive charge? You all know that electrons are negatively charged. So when sodium is giving up one electron, means automatically one negative charge is decreasing. So a positive charge will be developed, whereas in the case of chlorine, this one electron is taken up, this negative charge is taken up, so it is indicated by minus sign. Now here you can see a chemical bond is formed between sodium and chlorine due to this give away and take up of electrons from the sodium and chlorine side. So one electron is donated by sodium and one electron is taken up by chlorine. So valency of both chlorine and sodium is 1. So from this you can come to one more definition of valency. Number of electrons that an atom of an element gives away or takes up while forming an ionic bond is called the valency of that element. It is the formation of ions. Later on we will see cations and anions. Hence the bond which is formed is ionic bond, and the number of electrons that an atom of an element gives away or takes up is also called the valency of that particular element. Here you can clearly see sodium has given up one electron, so valency is 1. Whereas chlorine has taken up one electron, so valency is 1. So giving up or taking up of electrons is also termed as valency of an element. Now I will request all of you to open your textbooks and refer page number 54. The chart which we are going to discuss here now already we have discussed just now while teaching you the topic of valency. So that same values you have to fill on the chart on page number 54. Complete the following chart. 14 elements are given. Hydrogen starts from 1. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1 up to 14. So wherever places are blank, immediately you have to fill their atomic numbers. Hydrogen is 1, helium is 2, lithium they have kept blank, so you are going to fill there 3. and hence I am telling you textbook should be open. So simultaneously this activity will also get over. During the activity discussion, I won't take this, complete the chart activity again. Beryllium, boron 4 and 5 they have already given. Carbon they have given blank, so enter there 6. Nitrogen 7, oxygen is given blank, fill it 8. Fluorine is 9, neon is 10, sodium is 11, just now we have seen. And magnesium, aluminium, silicon 12, 13, 14 is already provided. Now how to write their electron configuration from hydrogen to neon? Yes, just now in the valency I have already taught you. So hydrogen 1 electron, so 1, helium 2, lithium 2, 1, beryllium it is 4, so 2 in the first shell, 2 in the next shell. Boron 2, 3, carbon 2, 4, nitrogen 2, 5, oxygen 2, 6, fluorine 2, 7, neon 2, 8, sodium 2, 8, 1, magnesium 2, 8, 2, aluminium 2, 8, 3 and silicon 2, 8, 4. Now always and always the comma should separate the two numbers, otherwise your electronic configuration will turn out to be wrong. Now as I have told you, the electrons which are present in the last shell, that are known as the valence electrons. So see the last shell, here it is 1, so valence electron is 1, so automatically valence is also 1. Helium 2, so valence electron only 1 shell and 2 electrons are present, so valence electrons are 2. Now in the first shell 2 electrons are present and the capacity of the first shell is 2 electrons, so valency is 0. Lithium, valence electrons is 1. What will lithium do? This 1 electron will be donated. So 1 is the valency. Beryllium, 2 valence electrons. 2 will be donated. 2 is valency. It is already provided. 3 valence electrons. For carbon it is 4 valence electrons. So 3 will be donated. 3 is the valency for boron. For carbon it is 4. Nitrogen, be careful, 5 valence electrons, as I have told you just now in the topic. Instead of donating 5 electrons, 3 will be taken up. That will be easy and it will become stable with 2 in the first shell, and after taking 3, 8 in the second shell. So valence is 3. Oxygen 6 valence electrons. Here also tendency to take up 2 electrons. So valence is 2. Fluorine 7 valence electron. 1 will be taken up. So valency is 1. Neon also we have seen 8 valence electrons. It is already stable. First shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons. So valency is 0. Sodium, no need of telling. Just now we have seen in formation of sodium chloride. Magnesium, aluminium and silicon are also very easy. I hope you have understood the topic of valency. Again and again I tell you, go through the topic carefully, keep reading, try to complete the chart in your notebook once again without seeing, because it is a very important topic for the 10th standard. Now here we have seen that each and every element has its own valency, but under different conditions. Atoms of some elements, they give away or take up different number of electrons. Here we had seen hydrogen, only 1 electron is there, or lithium 1 valence electron, beryllium 2 valence electrons. But there are certain elements which give away or take up different number of electrons, and in such cases what happens, those elements they exhibit more than 1 valency, and this property of elements is called as variable valency. Variable, variations, different valencies, more than 1 valency. So here they have given the examples for your syllabus: copper, mercury and iron. These are the 3 elements which exhibit variable valency. It can be asked under MCQs in the exam, so be prepared thoroughly. The symbol of copper is Cu, mercury is Hg and iron is Fe. So symbols they have written. Copper exhibits 2 valency, 1 and 2. Mercury also 1 and 2. Iron it is 2 and 3. So copper will donate 1 electron. So Cu plus 1, Cu 2 plus. 2 plus means what? 2 electrons are taken up, not donated. No, it is donation, because positive charge means the electrons are being donated, given up. We have seen sodium and chlorine. So cuprous is the first case, cupric is the second case. Similarly, mercury and iron, you can see valency is 1 and 2. So Hg plus. Now here no sign is there, means plus 1. Hg 2 plus. Means what? One electron is given away, 2 electrons are given away. So mercurous and mercury is formed. And iron valency is 2 and 3. So Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus, ferrous and ferric. So 2 plus means 2 electrons are given away, 3 plus means 3 electrons are given away. So you can see in this elements more than one valency is seen. Such a property is called as variable valency. On the same page, on page number 54, towards the end you have one topic of radicals. So you have to complete the table over there along with me. You will just complete the table in your textbook. Write down the cations and anions obtained from the compounds in the following chart. Name of the base and name of the acid is given. Cations and anions you have to write down in the blank spaces which are given in the table. So NaOH, sodium hydroxide, is the base, which is the cation Na. So Na with a plus sign is cation, OH with the negative sign is anion. Same for KOH. K plus is the cation, OH minus is the anion. CaOH twice. So Ca2 plus is the cation, OH minus is the anion. Here it is very simple. HCl, H plus cation, Cl minus anion. Anion always with a negative charge. HBr, H plus, Br minus sign. And HNO3, that is nitric acid, H plus, and NO3 minus is the anion. So fill these values in the chart which is given to you. Now we have seen the formation of sodium chloride just now. So compounds with ionic bonds, they have two constituents. The two constituents are cation and anion. You can see this ionic compound. So two constituents are there, cation and anion. So cations, they are positively charged ions and anions are always negatively charged ions, and they take part independently in the chemical reaction, and hence they are called as radicals. Now the cationic radicals, they are also called as basic radicals, and anionic radicals, they are called as acidic radicals. So this you have to keep in mind. Now the last topic for this chapter is to write down the chemical formula stepwise. So the first example which is given in the textbook, that example only we will take, page number 56. Now for writing the valencies, you should know the chart. If you see on page number 56 of your textbook, the chart of ions and radicals, they have deleted from the syllabus. But unless and until you know the values, you won't be able to write the valency and all. So that chart you have to take into consideration. Now to find the chemical formula of sodium sulfate. So sodium sulfate means your step number 1 is to write the symbols of the radicals. Always the basic radical, that is the cationic radical, should be on the left hand side. So here sodium sulfate means sodium and sulfate. So Na and SO4. Symbols you have to write. You should not write the names. So Na and SO4. Your step number 2 is to write the valency below the respective radical. So Na and SO4. For Na the valency is 1, SO4 valency is 2. Now you can ask me, teacher, how you came to Na? Okay, you can find out from the electronic configuration. How you came to know for SO4 it is 2? Refer the chart. Just now I have told you, page number 56. You have the ions and radicals chart. Under that you search for sulfate, SO4. There you will come to know they have given 2 minus. So 2 is the valency. Step number 3, cross multiply, shown by the arrows the number of radicals. So you have to just cross multiply. So Na multiply by 2. So Na2 and SO4 multiply by 1, that is SO4. So this is the chemical formula of sodium sulfate. Now this way you have to find out the molecular formula for different compounds in your textual exercise. Name of the compound will be provided to you. Very simple if I take. I take calcium oxide. Then you have to write the symbols, and here you will write calcium, here you will write O, oxide. Then below that you will write their valences 2, 2. Then you will cross multiply and then you will write the chemical formula. So if this type of numerical is asked in the exam to write the steps in reducing the chemical formulae, then each and every step, writing the step and then performing the step is very important. If directly you write the symbols and write the valency and all without the heading, it will not be meaningful. At the same time, you will not get full marks. So see to it that steps are shown, and below the steps you have to write the requirement. So with this, I declare that the explanation for chapter number 4, measurement of matter, is over. Tomorrow we will start with the discussion of textual exercise for this chapter, and on Monday we will complete with the remaining textual exercise, additional questions and the activities for this chapter. So I request all of you for tomorrow's session, be present with your textbooks and a pencil, as we are going to discuss the textual questions. And there are many questions which I have to delete as per the reduction in your syllabus according to the pandemic. So pencils, if it is there, immediately you can mark the deductions in the textual exercise itself. Till then, we are eagerly waiting for all of you to meet physically in the school. So practicals and all we can perform in the school. At the same time, before attending the school, see to it that your notebooks are completed up to the mark, and reading of the chapter, all the topics which are taught to you for section B, we have completed with the revision also. So reading and studying for your exam should also run parallelly. Thank you, dear children.